I'm not sure there's a religious observance in the church that more directly collides with deeply held assumed values of secularism than Ash Wednesday. It was yesterday, in case you missed it, or in case you were wondering why so many random people were walking around with smudged crosses on their head. The imposition of the ashes, as it's called, is a tradition that goes back about 10 centuries. It marks the beginning of the season of Lent on the church calendar, which is kind of the counterpart to Advent. Just as Advent is to prepare God's people to celebrate the coming of Christ at Christmas and to celebrate the Christmas season, the season of Lent is designed to help God's people prepare to observe Holy Week and especially Easter Sunday. As the priest or pastor smudges the ashes across the forehead, he tells the worshiper, "You are from dust, and to dust you shall return." A quote from God in Genesis chapter 3. Now, whether recognizing the church calendar is part of your tradition or not, what Ash Wednesday symbolizes is something that runs in direct conflict with the values that are deeply held by secular culture. First, it reminds us that we're sinful, that we have moral guilt before God. And that's important in a culture that wants to give us a universal get-out-of-jail-free card in the name of freedom, which is really nothing more than a free-for-all. We're told that all indulgence is a good thing, that sexual variety and sexual intensity is a good replacement for sexual wholeness and sexual integrity and sexual intimacy. We're told that anything we want to do must be okay merely on the condition that we want to do it. And yet that's not the way reality works. The moral law that God put into the universe as created is written on the universe and is written on our hearts. And we have failed that moral law, and we need to know that. Second, God's indictment on the human condition, "You are dust, and to dust you shall return," is an important reminder of our mortality. Ponce de Leon's quest for the fountain of youth hasn't gone away. It's just now the solution isn't water, it's genetic engineering, it's gender-selective abortion, and all kinds of other eugenic strategies that go along with our technical arrogance. We think the world is one in which we control it, and that we'll be able to defeat all problems, including death. It's just a matter of time. But you know what? Death remains. Death remains the universal problem of the human condition. We all die, and when we die, what happens? We will encounter the God who created the world. We need to know that and not be deluded by what writer Craig Gay called in his book, The Way of the Modern World, practical atheism. A lot of us who believe in God aren't atheists, but we're practical atheists. We live as if God is largely irrelevant for most of life. And a reminder of our mortality counters that in our lives. Finally, we need to be reminded that our greatest needs are not physical. Our greatest needs are spiritual. God said, "You're dust, and to dust you shall return." Jesus said, "Fear not those who can kill the body. Fear those who, after they kill the body, can throw the soul into hell." It's traditional during Lent to give up something, usually a physical indulgence, a favorite food, a favorite drink, or some sort of activity. But fully celebrating Lent is not just giving up some physical thing, it's replacing it with a spiritual discipline of prayer, of Bible reading, of study, of meditation, of community, of gathering together and praying together. And I challenge you, if you're going to take Lent seriously this year, don't just give something up, but replace it with our greatest need, and that is the need to know God and to walk with Him through the world. For ReEngage, I'm John Stonestreet.